안녕하세요. Seren입니다. Hey Roses, I'm back to do I'm gonna do books I've read recently, but then also I'm gonna do a separate video of books that I want to read. The reason I'm doing ones that I've already read is because majority of these are from the library and they're gonna be due back on Wednesday, and it's Monday when I'm filming this. So yeah, this is probably gonna get posted tomorrow. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and do it. Where do I start? Because I have a lot. Because I've been binging a bunch of manga series recently, so that's a lot. We'll start with this one. This is called Strawberry Panic, and it is the full, like, omnibus edition, where it's got all of the volumes in it. And this is basically about a girl named Aoi Nagisa who transfers to a Catholic school, and there's this competition in the school. It's like who's the best couple, or itorle. I'm not sure how to say that. And the most popular student is Hanazono Shizuma. God, I keep saying that wrong. Shizuma. And all of a sudden, Shizuma has a crush on Nagisa, and it's just like chaos ensues. But overall, I did enjoy this. I did go through it kind of quickly because I read manga quickly. If you follow me on Goodreads, you'll know I go through manga quickly. Speaking of which, I need to add that to my About Me page. I need to add that so people can follow me on there if they so wish. Because I know there are some people that follow me for books, some people follow me for singing, some follow me for journaling, like a variety of things. So yeah, so this was one of the first ones. Put this over here. Get it away from the stack of ones that I want to read so I can keep that separate state. Okay, next I read volumes 4 through 8 of Seraph of the End. And I'm really enjoying this series so far personally. I know there's at least 16, I believe, out. I think it's 16 or 17, but I am enjoying this series so far. It follows a boy that basically grew up in an orphanage in a vampire society, Yoichiro. I think that's how you say it. Could be wrong. Don't trust my pronunciations, please. My Japanese is still kind of garbage, but I believe it's Yoichiro. And basically, him and his friend, I think his name's either Mika or Mecca. It's been a minute since I've read volume 1, so yeah, Mika. I was right. Okay, I just saw it on the back of volume 4. And basically they tried to flee the city, but they end up getting caught by one of the vampires. Mika basically just like was playing like the innocent kid lamb role, so to speak. Which I hate the vampire that freaking... Not even gonna go into it because that's a spoiler. But basically, Yoichiro is the only one that's able to actually escape. And a bunch of people come out from this like army that hunts vampires and says, "How did you get here?" And they take him in and like teach him, because he wants to kill the vampires for killing his family. All of them are in an orphanage, but they consider each other family. So, like I said, I'm liking it so far. And I do plan to continue if they have volume 9 when I get to the library, because when I was there, I didn't see it. So, yeah. If you like vampire series, but with with a different twist, I would recommend A Seraph End for sure. If you like cutesy, slice of life, like school setting ones, I would recommend Strawberry Panic. If you can find it. I know Strawberry Panic is kind of older. The next one is a fairly newer series. I say fairly very loosely because I know it's one of the more popular series out, and that is Jujutsu Kaisen. I finally jumped on the bandwagon. I have been hearing so many people talk about this and the anime, and I finally decided to jump on it and start it. Now, volume says 0, but really it's the prequel to the original. And what Jujutsu Kaisen is about, at least the main story, it says Itadori looks like your average teenager. Every sports club wants him to join because of his immense physical strength, but he would rather hang out with the school outcasts and the occult research club. One day, the club manages to get their hands on a sealed cursed object. Little do they know the terror they'll unleash when they break the seal. Which had me intrigued. Not gonna lie, this had me intrigued. And so, especially after hearing so many people talk about it, so many anime and manga tubers I watch that talk about it. So I had to jump on the bandwagon, and I can see why people like this series so much. I'm definitely going to get volume 2 if they have it when I go to my library. Because I'll start a series, want to get the next volume, but then it's not there because someone's already checked it out kind of thing. But yeah, I do recommend Jujutsu Kaisen for sure. Get the bear out of the way. Let's do these. I'll do graphic novels at the very end. Let's put you there. Next is Magi, Volume 1. I was kind of confused about the plotline of this at first, but as I was reading it, I was like, oh, makes sense, okay. This is about a young boy named Aladdin who has like this, I don't know if it's like a whistle or a pipe or what, but he basically can summon this huge headless being that's like super buff that can like destroy anything in the path. And he ends up meeting this guy named Alibaba, and the Dijin, the one coming out of the pipe, is named Ugo. But Aladdin wants to find Ugo's belongings that were lost in different dungeons, which is what basically, like, think of Cave of Thieves in the original Aladdin. Basically what it is. Sorry if you hear my phone, or the family phone. But this is just basically an anime take on Aladdin, so if you really liked Aladdin as a kid, you might like this one, because while it does follow a similar storyline, it has its own twists in it, which I liked a lot, so. Probably will get the next one of that. I'll do this one next because it's older. I read volumes 1 and 2 of Loveless. Now, Loveless is a series about this boy named Ritsuka who discovers that, or had to deal with his brother being kidnapped, and he meets the mysterious Sohobi, which is the guy with the lighter hair on the back here. But you can also kind of see him there too. And you find out what Sohobi's relation to Seimei was. Seimei, his brother. So it's an interesting take. I'm not going to go into too much detail because 1, it will take a lot to explain, and 2, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but just know that it is an older series, and I will say one thing. If you have a problem with, like, because it's hinted, I don't want to say it's an actual thing, but it's hinted that Sobe likes Ritsuka in a sexual way. And like I said, Ritsuka is 12. Sobe's in college. So if you have an issue with that, I will put that trigger warning beforehand. I don't know where you can find this series. You may be able to find it online or places like Half Price Books or Book Nook, things like that. So, yeah. I don't want to continue because Sobe is really interesting to me because I'm like, okay, what are you? Type of thing. So, I do want to continue that one. Next one is called Horimiya. This one has been blowing up since it released. I do know that. Also, you can kind of see my TV in the glare. But anyway, Horimiya is basically about this girl named Hori, who is known for being smart, attractive, and popular. On the other hand, her classmate Miyamura tends to get painted as a loser fanboy. But when a liberally pierced and tattooed, not to mention downright gorgeous Miyamura appears unexpectedly on the doorstep of secretly plain Jane homebody Hori, these two similarly dissimilar teenagers discover that there are multiple sides to every story. So I thought this was kind of cool because, like, you have the popular girl, but then, like, the nerdy, but then when they're in their own space, she's more homebody, no makeup, just chilling, and he's got still the same hair, but he's got, like, piercings and tattoos, and it's just really interesting. So I'm hoping to get volume 2, although I've heard volume 2 doesn't necessarily follow these characters. I think it follows 2 new characters, but I could be wrong about that. Right, I have read volumes 1 through 4. I'm just gonna hold up volume 1 of a series called Clover. I had never heard of this series, like, at all. I never heard of this series. And I was curious. I was like, this looks interesting. It looks like kind of mech. What is it? And it is about this girl right here on the cover, and this guy right here on cover volume 2. He gets hired to basically help her break out of her prison, so to speak. She's basically locked up in a room because her powers are so good, because in this world there are people known as 3-leaf clovers and 4-leaf clovers, and 4-leaf clovers have, like, really, really strong magic abilities, or in her case, she can sprout wings. And it was kind of hinted in the picture there, but you'll really see it if you can get a hold of this series, because I think this one's pretty old too. Let me see. God, I hate that noise. 2001. Wow, I didn't realize it was that old. I guess it makes sense with the art style, but anyway. And overall, I do find this intriguing. You find out that there's a connection between this girl and the guy in a way that you did not expect. I'm not going to say what, because it is a spoiler, but I was honestly shocked at the turn that it took, because I was thinking, oh, maybe it'll just be like, you know, they met previously or something like that. No. I will not say what, again, because I don't want to spoil, but it was insane. I'll go ahead and show you the cover of volume 3 and 4. Here's volume 3. And you'll know who this girl is if you read the series. And volume 4. And these are fairly thin volumes. So the fact that it only had 4 volumes and it's this thin, well, I guess back in 2001 they didn't want them to be crazy long. I don't know. No. The pile that I put to show what I'm going to read next keeps slating. Stay. Alright. This one is for people that are into Yuri. Now, what I mean by that is basically lesbian manga. Sip my drink. And it is called Citrus. Now, the cover looks very lesbian, doesn't it? This is also for fans of Strawberry Panic. So if you've read Strawberry Panic, then this might be a good one for you to try. This is about this happy-go-lucky girl, if I can talk without slurring, named Yuzu, who, you know, she likes having fun, she likes doing fashion and makeup and everything. She basically is like the stereotypical high school girl, but her mom ends up getting married to a new man, and he has a daughter, which is this girl right here. And it turns out that Yuzu might start having potential interest in her. I'm not gonna say definite, but it's hinted. So I'm just like, interesting. And the girl with the black hair is named May. So I just thought this was really interesting and really different, because a lot of the Yuris I've come across did not go with the step-sibling concept, so I was really curious about this. And I will get the rest of those and read those. Like I said, I've read a lot, so this video is probably going to be really long. Okay, next is Haikyuu. This is another one that's super popular for anybody that's familiar with this series. Is a series about volleyball. Basically, the guy on the cover with the orange hair wants to be good enough to go to the nationals, and he comes across the guy with the black hair in a tournament in middle school, and the black hair guy does beat the one with the orange hair, but he's impressed by how he can do his, like, how he can catch the ball, because he has a certain way of doing it that most players don't. So I thought that was interesting when I saw that. I'm like, not typical of most players, but okay. But yeah, I did like this. I do want to continue, just because I want to see how the series keeps going, and I know for a fact that my library has pretty much the entire series. So, excuse me, got the burps. So I do think that I'll be able to continue this one fairly quickly. Next is another one that I jumped on the bandwagon with, and that is Chainsaw Man. If you are in the anime and manga community, then you are probably well aware of Chainsaw Man. This series follows a boy named Denji. He is a demon hunter for the Yakuza, or Japanese police, which another one of the ones that I've read features the Yakuza too, but in a different way. Anyway, eventually the Yakuza are fed up with him, and this is technically not a spoiler because it's in the first volume. It's not like I'm spoiling something from the second one. They basically kill Denji, cut him into pieces, and then the little devil dog that follows him around, Pochita, takes control of his body, and that's why he looks like he does on the cover. Because Pochita was like a dog with like a chainsaw sticking out of his face. And he's able to activate Pochita's ability by pulling the string on his chest. So it's an interesting idea. It's definitely different from most shonen that I've read, because I hate to say this, but a lot of the shonen series can get slightly predictable. This one, not so much. I can definitely tell that it's meant to be written as a shonen, but it doesn't have the same tropes that a lot of shonen do, if that makes sense. Which, when I say shonen, that's the company that wrote it. Like, there's some in this I've read that are shoujo, which is a different type, and then a seinen, which is another type. Okay, next is volumes 10 through 14 of Pandora Hearts. I have been loving this series so freaking much. I cannot even tell you. John, or Reva, as some of my online friends know him as, introduced me to this series because he got so addicted to it that he actually got the pocket watch inspired from the series. I'm pretty sure he still got it. Had to stretch my leg. I'm pretty sure he still has it, but and this one is by Yen Press. So I think this one is technically a shoujo. Could be wrong though. I'm not as familiar with like this one is shonen, this one is shoujo, this one is seinen. I'm not that familiar with that, so if you're hearing talking, my great uncle is in there with my grandfather. But yeah, overall, I do like the series. I want to continue. I want to say there are 10 volumes left. I want to say it's 10. Could be wrong about that though. Next is volumes 1 and 2 of Black Butler. I was curious about this series because a few of my friends have talked about it, and I think Reva mentioned, or John mentioned it to me back in the day. Because he was watching the anime and thought it was interesting. Oh, and Pandora Hearts, what it's about is this boy named Oz Vasileus, who basically gets sent to what is known as the Abyss, and as for people that commit really bad crimes, and the person that sent him to the Abyss is your greatest sin is that you are alive. So I thought that was weird. But he manages to get out, not gonna say how, because it's a spoiler. But it's almost like an anime take on Alice in Wonderland. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then Black Butler is about this boy named Seal Phantom Hive. And this is like the head of the Phantom Hive household, but it's like he looks like a 12-year-old boy. And his butler right here on the front, Sebastian, he does things most butlers wouldn't be able to do, and you're kind of confused. I know I was at first. But you learn later why he's like this, and again, not gonna say due to spoiler territory, but I thought that was an interesting take for like the butler servant trope. Okay, the last 3 manga that I've read, and then I'll get into the graphic novels. I told y'all I read a lot this month. I don't know what it is, but I've been in a big like manga reading kick. I've been going nuts. And it is the first 3 volumes of Demon Slayer. Another one that I finally jumped on the bandwagon. I feel like so many people talk about Demon Slayer and how good it is. I can definitely see why. I do want to watch the anime, but after I finish the manga, because I'm a person that if there's literature involved in it, I want to read it first. The only exception was I watched the second Twilight movie, New Moon, first before I read the book. And then it took me forever to get through the book, so that's the only instance that happened. But for those that don't know, Demon Slayer is about this boy named Tanjiro, here on the front. And he basically is the breadwinner of the family, and he goes down the mountain to sell some goods, and comes back and fights his entire family murder, except for his sister, Nezuko, right here. she gets turned into a demon. So he's trying to find a way to turn her back to normal, basically. Okay. Now for the graphic novels, they're all from the same series, so I'm just gonna, whoop, did not mean to shake the table. Just gonna hold them up like this. And it is the Mortal Instruments graphic novel series. If you guys are familiar with Mortal Instruments, the series is written by Cassandra Clare. There are 6 in the Mortal Instruments series and 3 in the Infernal Devices, which is the prequel, and then a continuation for Mortal Instruments, which I think is called Lady Artifices, and maybe the sequel to Infernal Devices. I don't know. It's the sequel to one of them. I think it's Mortal Instruments, though. Anyway, it follows this girl named Clary who, you know, just went out to go dancing with a friend of hers one night at a club, and all of a sudden she spies a demon that other people don't see. Like, she's the only one that sees it. And she actually witnesses 3 people, Jace, Isabel, and Alec, kill the demon. And she's super confused at first because she's like, why am I the only one that saw that? And so it's interesting because it's not something that you would expect. Like, most people who have powers like that, you know, they're like, oh, I knew about this all along type of thing, not I have no recollection at all type of. So I thought that was really interesting. And back in the day, I read books 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the series, but I kind of wanted to read the graphic novels as a little bit of a refresher. Not to say I'm going to read books 4, 5, and 6. I'm not going to do that. But I thought it was nice for me to get caught up on the world. And then the last 3 books that I read, because I forgot to put them over here, these are ones that I own personally. The first one is Animal Crossing Deserted Island Getaway little manga. I thought this was really, really cute. Like, you get to see a bunch of the characters. The one of Dom right here, I freaking love. But yeah, this is super, super cute. I heard there's 4 out, so I'm gonna try and get the other ones when I can. But this was so freaking cute. Next one is Yakuza Fiance. So many people I watch in the manga community and in the anime community rave about this. They absolutely love it, and I can see why. It follows a girl named Yoshina, who grew up as a sheltered Yakuza princess of the largest crime family in Osaka, the Some. Due to her resting bitch face and dangerous family, I'm just reading from the back, no man has ever approached her. When her grandfather signs a truce with the Tokyo-based Miyama crime family, he offers her up as a truce bride to the Miyama leader's grandson, Kirishima. So, really interesting idea. Arranged marriage between 2 Yakuza families. I thought that was very weird and different, but also cool. And I think there's 2 or 3 out. I want to say 3. And then the last one that I read, which if you know me in person, you know this is no surprise, Tokyo Ghoul Volume 2. I did read Volume 1 not that long ago. Freaking loved the anime, and I heard so many people say the manga is better than the anime. So I had to pick up the manga just to see what everybody was talking about. And the manga does go more in depth with a lot of things compared to the anime, but that's to be expected because you don't want the anime to be like forever long. So yeah, definitely enjoyed this. I have volumes 3 and 4, so I will probably read those soon. But yeah, that was everything for what I read in this last little while. I know it was a long one, and I apologize. Like I said, I've been on a massive reading kick. I don't know what it is, but I've just been on a massive reading kick. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If there are any series in this video that you guys have read or are interested in reading, feel free to let me know down below. Keep in mind that most of this manga is read right to left, not left to right. Japanese people tend to read right to left. So it can get kind of confusing at the start, but once you follow the order and the way that the bubbles are, it becomes second nature. I've been reading right to left manga since I was 16, and I turned 31 this year. Holy crap, I feel old. I feel old now after I've said that. Anyway. But once again, hopefully you all enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys soon in another video at another time. Bye, roses. Annyeong.